the National Guard member shot in Washington, D.C. has died. In the last half hour, President Trump announced 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom died from her injuries. The other National Guard member, identified as Andrew Wolf, remains in critical condition tonight. And now authorities say the Bellingham man accused in the shooting drove across the country to shoot National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. The FBI confirms they searched the suspect's home in Bellingham. KOMO's Jeremy Harris is live there now with the very latest for us. Jeremy?
Yeah, we spent the day here speaking with people at this Bellingham apartment complex who say they had seen the suspect, Rahmanullah Lakanwal, and his family, but they didn't know them well. It was around 3 o'clock this morning. They say the FBI showed up here, kicked in the family's door, and it was then they learned that their neighbor is accused of shooting those two National Guard members on the other side of the country.
The search warrant was executed on that house last night or early this morning, and it is an ongoing process. All the individuals found in the house have been interviewed.
Federal investigators came to this apartment building in Bellingham where terror suspect Rahmanullah Lakanwal lived.
What we know about him is that he drove his vehicle across country from the state of Washington with the intended target of coming to our nation's capital.
Lakanwal came to Bellingham in 2021 as part of an Afghan refugee resettlement program. Local, state, and federal court records don't show any criminal history prior to his arrest in Washington, D.C.
Never really talked to any of them except the kids, telling the kids to quit running through the hallways and quit breaking stuff.
Bill Beveridge and his neighbor said they recognized Lakanwal, but had no indication he would be accused of doing something like this.
It scared the hell out of me because that kind of stuff is like, you know, most people think it's just seeing it on TV and movies and stuff, but no, this is in reality, you know, and it's less than 50 feet away from my apartment. So.
Now, the FBI in Washington, D.C. is taking the lead on this investigation, but they say they've executed warrants both there in D.C., here in Bellingham, as well as in San Diego. Reporting live from Bellingham, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News.
Jeremy, aside from the warrant served overnight, has there been any presence of law enforcement there today?
Yeah, that's one thing that we stayed pretty much here in this area throughout the course of the day. We haven't seen any investigators return here, but we do know that the city of Bellingham has said their resources are available. But as far as anybody coming back here to the home, not today. Investigators said that the FBI spent several hours here, starting at about 3 a.m., wrapping up after the 8 o'clock hour this morning, and that's according to the neighbors.
Jeremy, thank you. The mayor of Bellingham, Kim Lund, says local authorities are working closely with federal partners following the shooting. She says in part, quote, the terrible actions committed in Washington, D.C. yesterday are the actions of one person, not a community. They don't represent Bellingham's values. They don't reflect the values of either Washington. They don't represent what makes our communities great. The shooting is now raising issues of vetting and re-vetting individuals who came to the United States from Afghanistan after the 2021 withdrawal. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has more.
Immigration from Afghanistan to the United States placed on an immediate freeze after an Afghan national allegedly shot two National Guardsmen on Wednesday, just blocks from the White House.
We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country.
CIA Director John Radcliffe confirming Thursday the suspect, 29-year-old Afghan Rahmanullah Lakanwal, worked with the CIA to support U.S. military units in Afghanistan. In a statement, Ratcliffe explained the Biden administration justified bringing the alleged shooter to the United States in September 2021 due to his prior work with the U.S. government, including CIA. Lakanwal initially came to the U.S. under humanitarian parole as part of the Biden initiative called Operation Allies Welcome. Once in the U.S., he settled in Washington state with his wife and 5 kids. In 2024, he applied for asylum to remain in the U.S., which the Trump administration granted in April of 2025. In the months following the U.S. withdrawal, roughly 90,000 Afghans were brought to the U.S. Concerns over properly vetting all the individuals were raised at the time.
You said 100% of these evacuees are screened. Have they all been given in-person interviews per the normal process?
They have not all been given.
Why not?
Interviews because we have to be mindful of the fact that we were in an emergency situation.
On Wednesday, President Trump calling for an immediate and thorough review of the immigration process from Afghanistan.
We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country.
A recent Justice Department review finding the Biden administration did not properly vet all arrivals from Afghanistan after the withdrawal, with at least 8 individuals still appearing on federal terror watch lists. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.